I want to start with something that is going to rearrange how you think about money. And I need you to stay with me because this is important. You've probably heard that certain companies and certain individuals have crossed 2 trillion in wealth. And most of us hear that number and we just nod and we move on because honestly, our human brains cannot comprehend what 2 trillion actually means. It is way too big. It is abstract. It doesn't feel real. Let me make this real for you. 1 million seconds, 1 million is 11 and a half days. That is it, 11 days from now. And then we have 1 billion seconds, which is 31 years. So if you started counting from the day you were born and counted one number every single second without stopping, you would reach 1 billion when you are 31 years old. Now, 1 trillion seconds. 1 trillion seconds is 31,688 years. Jesus Christ was born roughly 2,000 years ago. Ancient Egypt, one of the oldest civilizations we know, is about 5,000 years old. 1 trillion seconds takes you back to 31,000 years, before written language, before agriculture, before civilization as we know it. That is what $2 trillion looks like in time. 2 of those sitting in the hands of one small number of people right now in 2026. And here is why I'm telling you this. Those people, the ones holding that kind of wealth, they are not putting it in their savings accounts. They are not leaving it in cash. They are buying the world sector by sector, asset by asset, quietly and strategically without making noise about it. Think about electricity. Someone owns the grid that powers your home. Every month you pay for your electricity bill. You are paying that person for the rest of your life and your children's life. Think about data. Someone owns the infrastructure that carries every message you send, every video you watch, every search you make, every time you top up your data. You are paying that person forever. Think about satellites, the weather forecast that you check before leaving your house, that GPS that guides you to a new address. Someone owns that satellite. And every product and services that depends on them pays that person indefinitely. They're not buying luxuries. They are buying necessities, the things that every single human on earth cannot live without. And once you own a necessity, people pay you forever. Not because they want to, because they have no choice. Now, let me bring this closer to home. Your generation, our generation, is the first in modern history that is genuinely at risk of owning less than our parents did. Back in the day, you could buy one property, then save and buy another, then maybe a third. That was possible. That was normal. That was how ordinary people built something to pass down. Today, do you know what it costs to own a second home in the UK? The stamp duty alone on a second property is enormous. The taxation, the additional bills, the cost of maintaining 2 properties in a market where prices keep rising. The money you would spend just on the extra taxes for a second UK home is enough to give you a full deposit on a Lagos property that will double in value before the UK one even appreciated by 10%. And London, the city most of us gravitate towards because of job opportunities, access. London has been bought. The good areas, the well-connected areas, bought by people with capital who understood exactly what they were doing. And as a result, ordinary people are being pushed further and further out to places with fewer jobs, fewer opportunities, further from everything that made London worth living in. That is not an accident. It is strategic. Now, here's something I want you to think about very carefully. Imagine there are 2 horses in a race. The first horse is called tax the rich. The second horse is called blame the immigrants. If you're a billionaire, if you are one of the people buying up electricity grids and satellites and data infrastructure, which horse do you back? Think about it, because this is exactly the race we are currently watching, and I hope it sits with you. Now, here is where you come in, because this is not a lecture. This is a call to action. You have something that most people in the world do not have. You have dual access. You are earning in pounds, in dollars, in euros, and you are still Nigerian. You have a foot in one of the fastest growing real estate markets on earth. That is your version of the offshore asset. That is your equivalent of the British billionaire who owns an estate in Switzerland, a villa in Greece, and an apartment in Dubai. They go offshore because they understand that diversification is protection. Your offshore is Lagos. And the window of entry is closing faster than most people realize. Lagos just increased the land transaction fees by up to 300%. That took effect May 1st, 2026. They call it the Blue Book. Official Lagos state government policy, the cost of getting into the market just went up dramatically. People are already talking about Chinese investors acquiring large portions of land in Ogun State. Foreign capital is arriving in Nigerian property market. And as of the last government records, 176 estates in Lagos alone are unregistered because of the cost of documentation. 176. And I will bet that some of you watching this right now are connected to one of those estates as a buyer, as a family member, as someone who sent money home and doesn't even know exactly what title is attached to what they bought. This is not the time to say Nigeria will never be great. This is not the time to say I'll wait until things are stable. The wealthy people of this world do not wait for stability. They create it for themselves by owning assets before the rest of the world catches up to it. Real estate is not the only answer, but for a diaspora Nigerian with a stable income and access to one of the most undervalued property markets on earth, it is the most accessible, most tangible, most proven answer available to you right now. We have done the research, we have the data, we have the numbers, and we are here not to sell you something, but to make sure that when you are ready to move, you move correctly. Because because this is not the time to be picky. This is the time to be strategic. And I promise you, the people with real money already are. This is Parlour Talk. I am Joy and I work with JESFEM Multiservice Limited. DM us. Ask the right questions. Ask the hard questions. That's exactly what we are here for. Subscribe to our YouTube, follow our socials, and if this one made you think, send it to one person who needed to hear it, because the race has already started. The only question is which us you are backing.